On September 30th, 2019, Cameroonians were eye-focused at Yaoundé during the major national dialogue, which brought together stakeholders from different perspectives, including civil society organizations, political parties leaders like Chairman John Fungi, and other stakeholders from the religious authorities, some in the like of Christian Cardinal Tome. The deliberation at the Grand Major National Dialogue were focused on looking at solutions plaguing the Northwest and Southwest region, alongside some internal squabble within the political landscape, and equally the far north region where we have the Boko Haram insurgency. Topping the agenda, which was Anglophone crisis, deliberations were made in such a way that the special status be accorded to the North and Southwest region, though some stakeholders still did not look into it as being a possibility. But however, as democracy will always prevail, majority pointed to the fact that effective decentralization to be at the beck and call, and that the special status will help accelerate the decentralization process, not just within the other regions of Cameroon, but equally within the north and southwest region of Cameroon, known for their specificity in terms of the bicultural and bicultural nature. Regardless of how it all went down into the throat of many Anglophone Cameroonians, it was all centered that the special status will be accorded. The special status was supposed to be backed by the election of the regional councillors, and the regional council election, we were told that after the election, its decentralization will effectively take place, and that those from the north and southwest region will be well represented, and the powers will be given into the hands of regional president. But when we look at the dynamics, especially in recent days in Boya, which was on Friday when the regional president was installed by the governor of the southwest region, and similar situation occurred within the northwest region of Cameroon, where the governor installed the regional president. The question now is, how powerful will the regional president be as far as the commander-in-chief within this region still remain an appointed official, whereas the elected official were told that will have powers more than the appointed officials? Can he who blow the piper stop determining the tune within the north and southwest region? This is House of Commons with me, Tamai Jarvis. Happy New Year. You're welcome back. If you are just joining us, you're watching House of Commons with me, Thamai Jarvis. A happy Sunday to all those of you watching us in Boya, within Womb, and those of you watching us in Kikai Kilaiki, those of you watching us in Douala, Cameroon's economic capital, and why not watching us on Facebook from different areas of within the world. To begin today's edition, I introduce to you my guest with whom we are going to continue our 1 hour 30-minute ride. On today's program, we have two topics in mind. The first, which is looking at the regional council's elections, and looking at how powerful will the regional president be. Part two of the program, we shall be looking at the sealing of shops by administrative authorities if it is going to kill Ghost Town. If it is going to kill Ghost Town, part two of the discussion. To begin with, Tanfu Jones, who is a member of Modegna. Tanfu Jones, you're welcome to the program, and a happy Sunday to you, Lingwe.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ta. It's always a pleasure for me to come here and share ideas to see how we contribute to nation building. I salute my fellow panelists and the millions of viewers who are out there watching us. We are here because you guys are out there, and you guys are out there because we are here too, and we appreciate. And we believe that before this program runs out, we must have contributed in nation building and in educating all of us. Thank you.
We equally have a powerful lady here in the house who is a person of Gwen, you're welcome to the program. She is a political analyst and someone who has been very vocal as far as this regime is concerned. She's been there to ensure that justice takes its full course. You're welcome to the program. A privilege to have you.
Thank you, Mr. Jarvis. Good morning to my co-panelists. I want to send a special greetings to all the televiewers of House of Commons and all the televiewers of My Media Prime. I also want to send my condolence to what happened, I think that was yesterday, in Bamenda. 4 children were being brutally killed by unknown gunmen, which we are still to look for the cause why these children were being killed. I think that Cameroon is the Northwest and Southwest crisis is really moving to an unexpected level, which is supposed to meant to care for our children or educate our children, but we see that this crisis is really becoming a nightmare to so many. So I send my greetings to those in Bamenda especially. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Akwen. Here in the studio we also have Ndiwum Emmanuel, who is a civil society advocate. Ndiwum Emmanuel, it's a privilege to have you here on today's edition of our program, my very first for 2021.
Of course, the very first and my very first passage for 2021. I wish all the televiewers a happy new year, and thank God for the journey message He accorded you back home with added feathers. A special Sunday to the faithful viewers of this program, especially Chair Felix Samalia watching us live from Meyomesala. And of course, before I give back the microphone to you, I wish a very terrible new year to those Cameroonians who are sitting in high offices in Yaoundé, who have already opened new accounts, depending on the budget that have been voted for this country for 2021, so that they can start embezzling and feeding it into their accounts. That peace should not locate you in this 2021. That wherever you put your feet and your hands to steal the public funds, they should be burned by the fire.
How do you know that they are going to steal?
No,
these are peace-loving Cameroonians.
Yeah,
people who have paid allegiance to O Cameroon, cradle of our fathers.
For sure, and that is why we are here today, because we have state defecators instead of state defenders.
That's your opinion. You take responsibility for that.
For sure.
To begin today's edition, I start by rolling the ball. Thankful Jones, we were told during the Grand Measure National Dialogue, which took place from the 30th of September 2019, that a special status will be accorded, and of course it was accorded, that it will be followed by effective decentralization, and that the regional president within these 10 regions will have the power to ensure the development of their community, especially their region. But when we look at the component in which surround their installation, can we be tempted to say that the governors are still in charge of these regions?
We should not be tempted to say that. It is evident. It is written black on white on the wall. Everybody can see it. I once said on this very platform that the special status is an empty calabash, and it remains an empty calabash, and it is even showing all that it's not only an empty calabash but a broken empty calabash, because I cannot imagine how somebody who is being voted into office is being installed by someone who has been appointed into office, somebody who has gone through the colonial school called ENAM, comes to install somebody who has campaigned his way into the office. We don't know how free and fair the elections that got the president of the regional president into office, but all we know is that at a certain point in time they had to lobby, they had to campaign, because they were voted by the councillors. So it is uncalled for that somebody whom we think that they should be at the same level of responsibility, at the same echelon, should come again to install the regional president. Come to look at it this way. After the national dialogue, people complained, and they told us that they were going to bring into place the regional presidents, and this regional president will have power and they will manage the affairs of those regions. But unfortunately, what we are seeing is that the regional president will still be there with the governors there. We cannot have two people handling the same affairs of the same region at the same capacities.
But could it be that maybe the government never wanted to waste resources by sending someone from Yaoundé to come and install these same persons, and just telling the governor that
this government not wanting to waste resources? Have you ever seen when the minister is moving, even for his private visit, you see the convoy? How many billions was being spent at the national dialogue that came out with nothing? Because we are talking about decentralization today, Mr. Atta. This decentralization we are talking about today was brought into light when I was about 5 years old. Look at my age today, and they're still talking about the quick start of the kickoff of the decentralization.
But now, thankful, the government is saying that it is accelerated decentralization.
Accelerated for after about 25 years.
When you said the major national dialogue did not hear fruit, we are talking about the liberation of Professor Maurice Kamto. We're talking about the creation of the Special Status House of Chiefs, which is in effect. We're talking about the disbursement of money in terms of the reconstruction of the North and Southwest regions. Can you, for sure, make it say that
if we are talking for the disbursement of money for reconstructing what? Houses are being burnt down daily as we are speaking. Houses were being burnt down in Bamenda yesterday, and they are reconstructing one bullet I see fly in the air. As my co-panelist said earlier, that children were being killed in Bamenda yesterday, and we are talking of reconstruction. And a minister openly came on air a few days ago to say that Mr. Biya has won the war against the separatists. Meanwhile, we know that this war has not yet ended. I don't know how somebody will declare victory before the end of a war. Meanwhile, when I say that the national dialogue yields no fruit, it's given to the point that all what was discussed at the national dialogue was controlled. They were censored. It seemed as if people just called for the national dialogue and had their pre-prepared documents under their cupboards, waiting for the national dialogue to come and roll as per se. And then after that, they just present the resolutions of the national dialogue. That is why we have decided at the national dialogue, because those decisions, they was not represent the national dialogue. If I didn't hear anything like federation coming out of the national dialogue, I will never call it the national dialogue.
Okay.
And first of all, we ask that if the government should organize a national dialogue, it should be between the two protagonists. What about the idea of the national dialogue? Because two people were fighting. Who are they? How can two people be fighting and then you bring the whole party to come and sit and talk about their own problems? Let the two people come and sit on the table, come to a compromise, and then let the war come to an end. You keep masturbating with people's lives, and every day people are dying, and you deceive people in the name of creating the House of Chiefs. Creating this House of Chiefs, if these representatives of these people who are in the National Assembly, the MPs, of course, who are in the National Assembly and the Senate, and some of them are even chiefs of their villages, they were unable to address this situation in the National Assembly and in the Senate.
Okay.
They were therefore.
We'll be coming back to you.
Let me just land, please. If the houses of chiefs are seen and the regional president are the ones to come and solve this problem, I think the Senate should be dissolved, the National Assembly is dissolved, and then the post of the governor dissolved.
I think that's for me analysis. Ndimu Memmanuel, before coming to Bar Akwen, we are talking about the regional councillors and the president. We're meant to understand that this structure will help accelerate effective decentralization and will help define the spatial status for those in Northern Southwest who have the divisional representative. When we look at this perspective, to see that the governors installed, the governors of both regions, North and Southwest region, installed the regional president, can we for sure say that the governor is still in charge? Or was it because of the fact that the government never wanted to waste resources by just saying that, okay, since the governors are already within the different regions, they should just install them so that we don't waste resources, because Cameroonians have been complaining about wastage of resources?
Mr. Tamai, you see, we have a government that is already used to wasting resources, so that could not even venture as one of the reasons. But before I come to your question proper, my brother said something there, and I was not very at peace with him. When he says it seems like, using the word seems lightens the weight of what he was trying to say.
Oh, what do you mean?
No, when he said it seems like before going to the national dialogue, they had a pre-prepared agenda. My brother, you have lightened it so much. Before going there, there was a pre-prepared agenda, and there was a remote control in that hall to remote control the brains of all those who are seated there, because they went there for their personal reasons. And another thing he said there, he mentioned something called National Assembly. Is there any National Assembly in this country? I don't think. I want to tell you that National Assembly is a structure that is supposed to control government action. But on the contrary, the government is controlling the National Assembly action. What a paradox. Now, when I come back to your question, no, you know my stand very well. I told you that from the election of 2018 till today, only the legal instruments of this country are holding these people, they're illegitimate. So to me, as a person, I have never seen any election in this country since 2018, which is called an election. Let me remind you that we have the GO, we have the SGO, we have the governor, we have the mayors, we have the councillors, and now we have the regional presidents. This will only give birth to administrative redundancy. And this administrative redundancy will only help so that more funds can be swindled into private pockets. Why do I say so? Who will control who? Because where we are now, nobody knows who controls who. It is very clear that by virtue of the nature of administration in our country, the government is still the overseer of the region. And so to speak, no regional president can overturn a decision coming from the governor. And I want to tell you that we have caught in a situation where if such a thing happens, this regional president risks being arrested. And I explain. You have seen recently how chiefs who are of the opposition are being stifled every day.
But why should chiefs be in the opposition if you are talking about?
I want to tell.
Chiefs are supposed to be apolitical and non-partisan.
Let me be succinct with you. There are chiefs in CPDM who are ministers in this country who are even the president of the National Assembly is the Lamido of their police, if I'm not making a mistake. You have Professor Jacques Famdongo, who is the Minister of Higher Education. He's the chief in the South, overall chief. He is on his Facebook page every day talking politics. So that is why I'm telling you that, to resume it all, the regions are still under the wings and caprices of the governor. These regional presidents, they are just figureheads. They have nothing to offer. In fact, they are just there to decorate.
When you talk about a figurehead, I want to get this.
They have no impact.
I want to get this claim.
Yes.
The government tells you that these members will be elected, and they were elected. The government says they are coming to solve the problem. They are coming to solve problems within the different regions, and that they need to be installed, and they were installed. Are you for sure saying that the government is not struggling to live by its expectation or what they said they would do? Because we've seen that the government saying that this is going to be an accelerated decentralization.
Our government has never lived up to expectation for once. So I'm not sure it's a miracle will spring down from heaven just this year and then we'll see a government that start living up to expectation. We are living in a sham. Look, let me tell you that in 2019, there was supposed to be an AFCON in this country, which failed. And today, more time was accorded to Cameroon. And today, Monday to Friday to Sunday, we have power cuts every day. We don't succeed to reach the stage, different stage, because there are no routes. Except that is what, by your definition of living up to expectation means. But for sure, I, Emmanuel, I am a patriot. That is why I have to tell them that, my dear people, you people have been failing and you are failing. So even this one is a failure. They are failing. The regional president will have no power over the governor. And so, please, just a quick one. If we were in a country where things were moving towards the right direction, even this installation would not have been done by the governor. And even the idea of the national dialogue would have been deliberated rather in the National Assembly. But unfortunately, since the action of the National Assembly is controlled by the government, not the other way around, we are bound and we are doomed to be found where we are.
Akwen, you've looked at this from I want us to look at this from a feminine perspective. We understand that women have a certain way they rise beyond looking at administration. When you look at the fact that the regional president, none of them is a woman. Can you for sure conclude that the government has a different way they believe development will come to Cameroon through the masculine nature, or what account for the fact that there are no women within the spectrum of the regional councils, and even the governors itself, still within the 10 regions, no governor is a female, and above all, the governors installed the regional president.
Yeah, Mr. Jarvis, before I answer your question, I want to re-educate us on what is the regional election. This was conveyed on the 7th of September by his president, His Excellency President Paul Biya, and he conveyed the Electoral College to tell us that the last institution of the constitution will be put in place, which is the regional elections. Now, they stated some of the utilities of these regional elections, which was the fast forwarding of decentralization, and also, to crown the thing, the promulgation of the law of the Code of Collectivity Territorial Decentralization, which gives birth to the special status. So we can see that these regional elections was meant for a positive, it was a positive thought, but today we can see that it has turned negative because of the regime. Now, when we talk of the presidents of the regional elections, we found no woman in it. I was a candidate for the regional elections in the Vuri, in the site of the CPNR political party, which is a party that is out, to protect the interests of all Cameroonians. And we saw what happened during these regional elections. The CPDM and who they are, they took everything. They just proved to us that they do not want to work with an opposition party, which simply means that the decentralization they preach about will not be effective. That is the first failure of this. That is the first failure of these regional elections. Secondly, to the fact that no woman was being elected is a fat blow, because we can see that women are always at the front line of gathering people. Women got power of assembling people. They got power to convince people. Women are like, the burden bearers of this country. But we see that the CPDM and what they are, because they know the weaknesses of a woman. Despite that, a woman
is holding the CPDM responsible, or the government responsible.
When we talk of the government, when we talk of the government is CPDM. That's the truth. There is no difference between the government and the CPDM political party.
Cabrali B is a member of the government too.
He is the member of the government. We are not the majority. We have nothing to say.
You're talking about the majority.
The majority, the government is the majority, which is the CPDM. They take the decisions. They take the final say. They got the knife and the yam. They do what pleases them. So when we talk of the regional elections and the power women could play, the CPDM political party simply denounced or told the world that women got this ability of humanism in them. So they decided to exclude them.
I want you to explain this further. I don't get this clear. I want to get this clear, and I want our audience to get this clear.
Yeah.
The elections were organized by Elections Cameroon.
Sure.
Not a CPDM arm.
Not Elections Cameroon. Election Cameroon is at the back and
forth. I want to get the context here. That the elections were organized by Elections Cameroon, Elecam.
Sure.
And within this periphery, it took place within the 10 regions of Cameroon.
Sure.
Appointed by the members were appointed to supervise the elections by the Elections Elecam.
Yeah, the
Director General of Elecam.
Sure.
Who supervised the elections, and it was transparent according to how we're meant to talk. That we were told as far as observers were concerned. Are you telling us that all these people are members of the CPDM, or which is the government, not the CPDM?
Okay, let me educate the general public on when we talk of Elecam and the government.
Okay.
Elecam is at the back and core of the government. Who governs Elecam? It is the government. It's the President Paul Biya. He gives order, and it becomes effective. So when we talk of the government, we talk of Elecam. They own probably everything in this country. So you cannot separate the two. They are the same people. Because when you see the head of Elecam, he's an LDPC. He's an LDP official. And he's been appointed by Biya. Thank you. So we cannot separate these two people. And when we talk of the regional elections and the transparency that went on during these elections, I would say it was transparent because they got everything. They had the majority of the regional councils. They got the majority of everything. So it was normally was supposed to be transparent according to them, in quotes. So let me go to the fact that women were being excluded. LDPC is a political party that understands. They have been on power. They have been politically aware for more than 38 years. 38 years today. So they know everything. So they decided to exclude women because at one point, a woman will always denounce something that is not good because they have that humanism in them. We saw that no woman was a president of this regional council, and to me, it's a fat blow, because when they elected the public independent conciliator in the northwest and southwest region, I thought that they would have elected a woman, because women always have that capacity of convincing, because those boys that are in the bushes, they are the children, they are the mothers of those boys. They had the capacity of convincing them, but LDPC and what they are, they still decided to, exclude women, because they want to continue their Jacobine government and keep maneuvering people and boiling them.
I want to get this clear, but I think permit me to digress a bit based on what you just said, because you're talking about the fact that the LCAM is controlled by RDPC or CPDM, but we saw that PCRM, your party,
yes,
has representative as far as the National Assembly is concerned. They won the election. Are you saying that it was unanimously decided, it was unanimously given to them just to show a sign of democracy in the Cameroon, or they did not win the election? Okay. Because I am sure that they won the election. That's why they are. It means that the LCAM is not a CPDM control committee. Else you are telling us that it was given.
I will keep saying that LCAM is at the beck and call of the government, of the regime. Now, the representative we have at the parliament, we merited it.
Okay.
Even though the government steals, they cannot steal all the time.
Okay.
You understand? They cannot steal all the time. At times, they also want to let, the public opinion being that it is being transparent or democracy prompts to allow those that merit being there. We do not have the majority, but I think that we have the capacity of our pertinence. Okay. What we say, what we bring out, and we believe that with our presence there, we will be able to contribute, if not totally, but we denounce. Because what happened, you can see our porte-parole, Anne Fegon, she was the one that initiated, I want my ID card, and it worked, and it's working for so many Cameroonians. I believe that CPNR is a political party that has the pertinence, and that is not an ally to the party on power, and we will keep denouncing. And I say, LCAM is at the beck and call of the government and its regime. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ba Akwen. We've just been joined by Song Veric. Happy Sunday to you all in the studio. Divine from Bafut, Divine watching us from Bafut. Happy Sunday to you. This other one, which is those who are watching us online. Becky says, Mr. Jarvis, welcome back. Thank you very much, Becky, and equally Jack Yoni said, Mr. Jarvis, welcome back too. Thank you very much. Godi Yonki, Mr. Jarvis, welcome back. Thank you very much. Hello, my Media Prime. Dr. Ako John Ako is also watching us from Facebook. All those of you watching us on Facebook, I want to say we are receiving your messages. Keep your messages coming in and your questions as within the comment section. Equally, you can send us an SMS here in the studio. Song Derek, welcome and a happy Sunday to you.
Thank you very much, Jarvis. A shout out to all the listeners of House of Common, my Media Prime. I'm so sorry for coming late. I guess today is Sunday, and the Spirit of God really prolonged the service. And thanks to all the panelists who are here present. We pray, God, that as we gather to deliberate always, we should change this country from the hands of people who cannot move and then put it in the hands of those who can move.
Song Derek, we've just been joined by you. We're talking about the regional council elections. We're looking at the fact that the regional presidents were installed by the governors of their respective region. And looking at the northwest and southwest region, to be more specific, we were told that the special status will be defined after the convenement of the regional council election. And we've had that already done. The president already installed by the governors. What does that tell you? Seeing the governor installing the regional president, can we for sure say that he who controls the piper this time around determine the tune?
I think there are sometimes you ask some questions and then you answer them in a very summarized way. First and foremost, the word special status is a word that doesn't exist in my dictionary, because I don't know who is giving special status to who and why is that special status being given. Because two equal partners cannot come together in a gentleman's agreement, and then in the morning another party is giving the other a special status. Secondly, after the regional elections, which to me has been a sham, is a scam, and is a failure, and it's another step in the wrongest direction of this same regime, I want to put it very clear that in every country, elected officials have power more than appointed officials. And so if somebody is elected and then installed by an appointed person, it shows a rigmarole regime and a failure, and people who learn to copy their notes but never learn to revise them. It is appalling to think that a regional councillor that is elected by the people, given power by the people, is installed by somebody who receives instruction directly from the one-man stand of Yaoundé. We wonder and we ask ourselves questions. How special is this special status, and how special are these regional councillors who are from the same regime that has a systemic problem with its porosity? How much will they change in the system? It is going to be the Catholic hymn of, as it was in the beginning, it's now, and ever shall be, world without end.
The song, Derek, this is it. I think let's get this point clear. The Cameroon government, through the President of the Republic, articulated that the regional president will have the power to effectuate development within their regions, and they will work with the public independent conciliators, who will be the liaison officer between them and the government. And the governor is just going to be the administrative supervisory authority within the region as far as taking care of other issues concerned. Are you telling us that the regional presidents are just a form of window dressing or an appeasement within the rank of the crisis?
I think you have said it in summary. They are flower beds decorations.
But how is that when we have resources that we use and we're using resources? No government will want to waste resources, especially Cameroon government.
Don't say no government. The Cameroon government has been wasting the resources of this country from when this country was given to people who cannot move.
I think before
till when it was given to a system that cannot move. Money. Now let's be very clear, Jarvis. The regional elections and elections of regional councillor is a recommendation of the national monologue that took place in Yaoundé a year after, and nothing has changed. And that recommendation says they should, like the PCRN representative said, fast forward decentralization 26 or 27 years after. That's when they are fast forwarding. And the fast forwarding of this decentralization is not because the government thought it wise, it's because the blood of people spilled in the street before the government thought it wise to fast forward.
Accelerated decentralization.
It's another way of playing with grammatic words, thinking that we didn't go to school.
But maybe the government will no. Maybe the government will say that, okay, we last time we took decentralization, it's now time, let's rebrand it so that it can be more effective by using accelerated decentralization, because we are seeing that it's actually accelerating with the installation of the regional president. We've seen that with the House of Chiefs already put in place. We've seen that with the public independent conciliator. Is this decentralization not accelerated?
Jarvis, the litany of the things you are calling are not having an effect. Mind you that the government we have in place is a government that has a way of playing with the reasoning faculty of her citizens. They keep using the same word. It's not different from the CPDM regime that has used Cameroon of greater realization, Cameroon rigor and moralization, grands ambition, and now we are on emergence in 2035.
No, you have forgotten
the question,
the mandate of new opportunity.
New opportunity. We are asking that in that 2035, are we going to be emerging with this stagnancy of things happening, or we will emerge in reality? So whatever you are saying about this system, Cameroon, like we will shout to the top of our voices, has a systemic problem. We have people on seat. We have people in power who have refused to think, and even those who are thinking cannot work because the system has program them to work according to that system.
I want us to get clarification, and I want the common man watching us to be clarified. And when you talk about the fact that we have people in the system who have refused to think, but the same people you say who have refused to think, things are moving well as far as their thinking capacity is concerned, because as far as they refused the fact that there was no crisis, there was no problem, they accepted that there was a problem, they said there was no dialogue, they accepted that there was dialogue. You said the national dialogue, the grand measure national dialogue was a monologue, but we don't see it as being a monologue, because the government dished out invitations to some separatist leaders like Mark Barata, Tabang Ivo and co, who refused coming in. They even had the opportunity to have sent their representative or a legal person to represent them, or even appointed somebody at home to represent them, but they did not. And equally, we have somebody like Barrister Congo Bala Felix, who is a member of the Ban Anglophone Civil Society Consortium, which spearheaded this conflict. We had members like Keremuna, we had members like the Christian Kazinatume, Nijon Frundi, and Padi Asanga. We had a lot of diversities who argued on the context of federation. However, a lot of things were discussed as far as national dialogue is concerned. You're saying it was a monologue. How monologue was the major national dialogue?
I'm happy you have a litany of all those failed movements. It's good, but it's not necessary for us to keep them, to recount them. You can't recount something that is a failure and all of us are failing. The national dialogue has taken place. It is 1 year, 2 months, or 3 after. We are still waiting for the guns to leave the street. Now, if this national dialogue was per se oriented towards solving a problem, the problem should have solved. Now, let me be very clear to you, Jarvis. To solve the Anglophone war, that people refused that there was no crisis, and later on went to Bamenda to tell us that Mr. Biya has won the war, a war they have never acknowledged existed. To solve this problem does not warrant calling people from the 10 regions of Cameroon to come and sit. It does not warrant calling up to 100 persons. This conflict can be solved with at most 50 persons on seat, and this problem will be solved. But no, I'm just that's my point of view. With just 50 persons on seat, this problem will be solved if the right persons are spoken to, and if the right thing is to be done. But we have a system. Let me tell you, it's very clear that there are people in this system, there are people in this government, be it the separatists, be it the government workers, or be it the international organizations that are eating fat from the suffering of the poor. That is why this system will keep the problem. Today they tell you there is no problem, everything is under normal. Tomorrow 10 are killed. Today everything is under control. The next week 50
thank you, Song Derek. We'll be coming back to you. Good morning by Brandy Yu from Chang. The only solution to Cameroon problem is to remove the present government. This other one reads, it says, good afternoon, please allow Song Derek to speak. Song Derek is speaking now. Good afternoon, my Jarvis and panelists. The special status has no effect or being on the people from the north and southwest region. The regional councils have no powers over the people so far as solving regional issues are concerned. This is so because the goodwill of the government is lacking. Manyunyang from Victoria is this other one reads, it says, good afternoon to you all in the studio. I have strong people not speaking institutions. That is why the government cannot keep its word. It's coming from Johnson in Limber. This one reads, good afternoon in the studio. Is Asong Stephen from Boya. I am in the opinion that there has never been election in Cameroon. All is appointment. Hello, Jarvis. I am glad to follow your crew on board. I am Chair Frederick Samalia, writing from Musala. My question comes begging for an answer. Is the so-called special status what the Anglophones asked for? Because I am afraid that the Biya's government have been putting the cart before the horse. Tanfu Jones, let's go now to the practicability of the regional president. We have the independent conciliators who polices the regional president. And do you think that the governor will still have the power over the regional president when there is an independent conciliator?
When you give the governor the power to install the regional president, it's indirectly telling the regional president that you are answerable and accountable to the governor, who in turn sends the information to Yaoundé.
Receive that information.
So,
but when the governor is installing, the governor says, on behalf of the government of Cameroon, the power vested on me, not as the governor of the region I install you.
On behalf of the government of Cameroon, who delegated him? He should have told us which, because the government is not a piece of cocoyam. Tell us who delegated you to. If he was sent from the Ministry of the Territorial Administration, decentralization, and look at the, we will have understood that this man is not a politician. I mean, he's not an administrator. You cannot.
The minister are appointed, and there's not even between the minister and the governor, because all of them are appointed officials.
They are appointed officials, but the minister finds himself over the nation, and the governor finds himself only at the regional level. If you appoint, okay, why is it that they created the House of Chiefs, and then they created the change, baptized, because there's no change anything. They baptized the government delegates into regional mayor, whatever mayors.
City mayors.
City mayors. That was the baptismal name that they gave to the government delegates. Why is it that they did not maintain both the government delegate and the city mayors? And now they are maintaining the regional president and the governor. Those are the same thing. So I don't see these two positions necessary in one basket. One should be taken off. This place should stop playing with us. Mr. Son said here earlier that they think that we have not gone to school, that we cannot do it. They are fooling themselves. They are indirectly just, and when you look critically, you even see that those people who are elected are people that we knew earlier. That the same names we keep hearing, the same faces we keep seeing, are the same people who are elected. Which means that at a given point in time, we are tempted to think that these guys just decide to share this country among themselves. That since you are no more in service, you will take this commission and handle it. You will take this position and handle it, so that you will be putting some cash into your pocket while you sit there and do nothing. So I don't think that that appointment or the installation of the regional president will have any impact or solve this political crisis we are facing in the northwest and the southwest.
Okay. Let me come to you before moving to Bar. When we looking at, I want us to really understand this context very well. The regional elections, the regional president work with the independent conciliators. These independent conciliators are liaison officer between them and the government. You and the rest of the crew, I think you've talked about the fact that the regional president will not have been installed by the governors. Who should have installed them? Because as Tanfu is saying that should be sent from the ministry, the ministers are still appointed by the head of state, commander-in-chief of the armed force.
Well, that question, I don't want to put a finger on a precise answer, because you know, we are in a country where from top to bottom has failed. We are in a country where those who govern us do no longer put on their thinking caps. And even those who struggle to put their thinking caps, their brains are locked and their hands are tight. But before I come back to that question, a worry that I want to air out, all these things that are happening, I think we have, what has really killed Cameroon is that, because all these things turns around politics. And you know very well that what we do in Cameroon is not politics. What we do in Cameroon is blackmail. Blackmail, insults, create more enemies, more than creating rivals on the political scene. And that boils down to where I'll touch my sister a bit. You know, when she says a woman was supposed to be elected, it gives us a clear view of how this country exists when it comes to election. It means that she confirms in a very nice, beautiful Sunday afternoon that elections in Cameroon, people are not elected. It should have been given to a woman.
No, but there are points in the constitution, especially
there are
constitution list for the municipal election is concerned. You must have a certain level of women representation, and that is a global thing. Gender is more competitive. A certain level that it should be gender sensitive in such a way that everybody is given
gender representation.
For the woman, we therefore the woman.
I have the floor, Mr. Gender representation, which is very necessary. I'm very okay with her idea, but the idea that a woman was to be elected into it, if you diagnose that idea very well, you'll discover that they were supposed to do as they did with the parliamentary election. They shared out some little seats to PCLN, which is not very far from the CPDM.
What she's saying, maybe she will answer that, but what she's saying is that a candidate was supposed to come forward from even the CPDM. No, that at least they should elect this candidate. Even if that candidate doesn't win, it shows that the
CPDM has women. They are not complaining. Which means that it is a system. No, that if
are you the CPDM?
Are you? No, she's CPDM. It's PCLN. No, you want to doubt?
No, you cannot say.
No,
that. You cannot say.
I have always said that the problems of Cameroon are coming from these CPDM satellite parties, and I keep maintaining it wherever I go, because it is a system that the CPDM has succeeded to weaken opposition in Cameroon by through some little coins, some little grains to them. They come and fall over it, then they lost focus. They go in their dispersed ranks. After election, they come crying. No. It is established in Cameroon that all these satellite parties belong to CPDM. And so,
where?
It's established. I am already establishing.
Okay,
you.
Okay. No, I just wanted to get that clear. Yes.
No,
no, it's okay.
Cameroonians are mature enough.
You have a right to and I respect that.
Yes, I go on. Cameroonians are mature enough that they no longer fool them. That's why I started this program by saying that what is holding this regime in place is the legal instruments of this country, no longer legitimacy, because they have never been legitimate in the first place.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah, no, they have never been legitimate. It's an illegitimate government.
How do you define illegitimacy? A government that was elected in the president of this nation was voted in 2018, and after 2018 there was no. Yeah, everybody has. After 2018 there was the legislative elections that took place, and after the legislative election we saw that senatorial election and other elections have been taking place. When you talk about legitimacy, isn't election a platform where legitimacy is obtained?
You are coming back from a country that has a degree of democracy. In democracy, we don't talk about people. We talk about the institutions of that country. Now, you wouldn't tell me that Elekam, which is maybe the third chapter of the CPDM regime Bible line, will not pay allegiance to them. You will not tell me that Elekam, that if an order comes on Yaoundé that remove Madame Ba from that list, Elekam will resist. No, you and I will not. You know what? You know what will happen if they dare remove that name, or if they dare maintain that name. But coming back to your question, that one, you know, we are like I said, failure is the name of Cameroon.
What?
That is failure. That is why we are talking here every day, so that these people, so that these people who have really lost touch with the realities of the world, because I don't think those who are governing Cameroon take example from other parts of the world. If not, they would have changed.
Okay, one minister once said that Cameroon has advanced democracy, and that Cameroon democracy will soon be exported to other nations.
They have advanced democracy because before elections are held in Cameroon, they know who is going to win.
I think
that's advanced democracy.
That's their definition.
And again, you see the people governing us. This Anglophone crisis has even caused most of our ministers to exhaust all their vocabularies. You see ministers stand in public places, tell us how they have been discussing with the voices. Those are the people ruling us. And Cameroon is going down the drain because wrong people, those who know nothing, are put to do everything.
Okay, you take responsibility for that. coming back to you. Let me read a few messages that will come to We'll move to the second topic of the agenda. Good afternoon, Mr. Jarvis, and happy Sunday to all panelists. Please, when you name all those that were present in the Grand Measure National Dialogue, I wish to ask if they were there for Anglophone, or the private invitation, because no one sent them to go and carry the flag of Southern Cameroon. And what is the meaning of special status and winning a war when there is no Anglophone problem, and with whom was he fighting the war with? Is coming from Wa Batum from Wum in Menchum division. This one reads, it says, good afternoon, Mr. Jarvis. Okay, I think that one has been read before. This one reads, it says, the major national dialogue has failed just like the League of Nations failed. Another organization was formed that let another dialogue be put in place as UN was formed to replace the League of Nations. It's coming from Ines in Melong. Yes, thank you for your message. But maybe we'll round up this section before moving down to part 2 of the program, that is sealing of shops. I think that is a very pertinent topic that we shall be talking about. But briefly, who should have installed these members of the presidents of the regional council, councils? Who should have installed them? When we look at the fact that almost everybody here is disagreeing with the notion of the governor installing them. And secondly, you may want to react to what he said as far as your party is concerned, that your party is a satellite party of the CPDM party. How far or how true is that assertion? Maybe let's get that from the horse's own mouth.
Thank you, Mr. Tamajax. I will start by telling my co-panelists that when you call Cameroon a failed country, it means you are a failure.
Sure. We're in the first system.
You did not say system, you say failed Cameroon.
Yes,
Cameroon is a failure. When you talk about Cameroon is a failure, it means we all are failures. Yes. It means you are a failure.
Sure.
What is your contribution to better Cameroon?
What I'm saying here
Ask yourself. Your contributions are not constructive. They are not constructive. But instead, you bring me. Let me talk. Your contributions on a table like this were supposed to be constructive, to be able to bring solutions. When you condemn, bring solutions rather than just blowing alarm to make yourself heard. It is not positive from you. And when you call my party a party which is legitimate, a party that has humans at the center, an ally to the party on power, to me it's an abomination. That's the problem we have. That's the problem we have with so many, how can I say, activists in Cameroon. You just find pleasure in condemning things you do not know. Wow. PCRN or CPRN is a political party that has all Cameroonians at heart. We are not an ally to the party on power. Why? Because you saw what happened during the regional elections. If we were part of these people, they would have given us some seats. Let me tell you, we do not play politics of an empty chair. Any Republican party is supposed to take part in elections. Yes, of course. How are you going for a battle and you decide to run away? If you run away from the battle, you are going to fight it another day. It means you term yourself a failure. No, CPNR is a...
No, let her land. Because Cameroon equally was against the fact that the Cameroon was equally against the fact that... No.
You guys should let me know.
This is gender, but this is gender bias. This is an attack now. Please let her land.
Let her land. Talk because it is diplomacy. I let you talk. When you talk, I talk too. So as I was saying, being a gentleman lets you have to let me talk. You will suffer to hear me talk, and then you can.
Yes, right on.
As I was saying, I am not lecturing you. I am simply stating my point.
Right on.
Okay, like I was saying, CPNR is a Republican party, and that has all Cameroonians at heart. It is a party that put in front the le bien-être of all Cameroonians. When you come on a public plateau like this and you start condemning a party which you are not a party to it and you do not know our ideology, it's wrong. It is very wrong. You find pleasure, you activists, you find pleasure in condemning things.
Okay, right on. There's no time.
When we spoke of who was supposed to install,
yes, who was supposed to install the president
of the regional
council.
You know, this when we look at the terms,
because your chairman Cabral Libi was against the fact that they should have
saying that this is already a term to the decentralization which we want to happen, or which the regime says they want it to go forward. So like I was saying, the person that was supposed to install the president of the regional elections, because when you see the criteria given for the president of the regional elections, it says that the president can be proposed by the governor. Who is the governor? The governor is an elected or a nominated official of the president. So we can see that the regime, I can say it is a fabricated. All these people are fabricated humans by the regime to be able to hold on power, to be able to control, to be able to keep Cameroon at their beck and call. And I think that the presidents of the regional elections were supposed to be installed by a neutral body. When I talk of a neutral body, I can talk of maybe why not the president himself? Because he's the head, because they said that these regional elections and their presidents are answerable to the president. Why did he send the governor? It means that he wants to suppress the powers of the presidents of the regional councils. It means that it is a chain. Even though the public independent conciliator, he has no power.
The government may say that they don't want to waste resources, because you people have been condemning the government of wasting resources. Now the government want to minimize costs and maximize profits by saying that things are already within the region, just go and install.
Can't say jamais. The Cameroon government is known of embezzlement, is known of destruction of our funds, which we do not even have. So we cannot say that they want to.
But how do you establish the fact that the government, which is legally represented, legally elected, is known for embezzlement of funds, which they still are fighting hard to alleviate poverty?
They are not fighting hard. Let me tell you, all this is politics. If you see a politician who is in prison from the government, just because they said he has embezzled, on appelle ça l'opération Epelizier, it is not because he embezzled money. It is because he has maybe eyed the position of a government official, of the president. That's the thing, it's a political issue. They always say amongst them that, steal my money, do whatsoever you are, but do not try to look at my position. That is the how can I call it? That is the mot de passe of the government. And
wait, I want to get this clear. Who brought out that concept? Because Cameroonians are watching. This is a new concept. I'm hearing you and the woman confirming that still my money, but don't look into my position.
Of course, because you will not tell me that. You will not tell me that. You will not tell me that those that are in prison are the ones that have stolen more than those. There are so many of them that have been known. They continue stealing money. The government does nothing about it. Or the operation PV that was put in place by the president, they do nothing about
it. But they're in jail now. The government is fighting. They're in jail. Right? So the government does nothing about it.
Embezzlement and all that, they do nothing.
So those who are in jail, they were not because of APV?
It is not because the primary cause for them being in prison is not that they.
Do you work now? Do you work with them? How did you know?
I do not work with them, but the reality is still there. I am not close to the regime, sir. Please.
Let her land, please. Stop attacking Akwe, please.
I am not close to the regime. As I was saying, it is a reality on ground which we know, because we know so many. Like one of the officials of CRTV, she embezzled money. Has she been put in prison? No. She's there. She walks free and she still breathes air. Freedom of air. She still breathes the air. Why? Because she has not yet targeted the seat of the government. So she still has legitimacy according to
Thank you, Ba. We'll be coming back to you. I think it's time good enough for us to move to part 2 of the topic. We'll take on this break, and when we come back, we'll ride on with part 2 of the topic, which is the sealing of shots by government officials. Will this help kill the much awaited or much disgustable ghost town within the north and southwest region? We'll be coming back. Thank you very much for joining us. It's been a heated topic. Those of you joining us, this one's a good program. Why installation when you have the Court of Appeal, which will have served for oath taking, and that is coming from an anonymous, and I think that should be the good idea. This one is a good day to the crew in the studio. Dissolve this intransigent and authoritarian regime in place and see Cameroon great again. Hansel from Mutengene. This one, it says, Mr. Jarvis, give the panelists room to air their views. Don't defend the Kwashoko government promises from Bello. Bello, please, I'm giving them the room now. This other says, good afternoon. The Major National Dialogue has failed, just like in League of Nations. I think I will move now straight to part 2 of the program. Part 2 of the program, which we are looking at the sealing of shops as far as North and Southwest region is concerned. But this one says, wow. I'm so happy to see you back, Mr. Jarvis. It is Annabelle from USA, California. All your panelists are very intelligent. The voices in the bushes with the girls will soon come out. Happy Sunday to you. Thank you very much, Annabelle. We want to say that we respect your view and you take responsibility for your SMS. Tanfu, I begin with you. We are looking at the sealing of shop. The late Lord Mayor of Boya, Ekemapachi Kesuya, tried that and probably still was not effective. We are in where you are coming from, the Ndonga Mantu. We saw that a communique was circulated by one of the divisional officers there that a mayor goes and seals shops until these people are ready to denounce Ghost Town and stop respecting Ghost Town. How effective will these measures be?
The mayor of Boya started it, and it's not yet effective. You are using a light language to defend, to describe something that is a failure. He tried and failed, and anybody who followed the same route will end in the same result, because we end up failing. Let me not say that, people translate in their own way. So what am I saying here? In Cameroon, there's no problem in Cameroon. So far, when if we talk about mayor and local governance in Cameroon, Cameroon is somehow quiet. I have been there. I have seen the mayor, and I was opportune to talk to the mayor of Cameroon, and the people of Cameroon are happy with the mayor of Cameroon. I even saw him went to a village. His name is Shemusa Mfo. He went to a village where the teachers are they disappear from the schools, and he said he will employ teachers from his pocket, put them in school so that they teach while waiting for the government interference, while waiting for the government to come in. You see somebody who has his population at heart, making sure that we have seen he have opened Cameroon with the help of the Cameroon MP, Mr. Honorable Ngala Gerard, who is working too hard to that way, building markets. Now, when we look at the other mayors who seal shops, I was in Bamenda, and I was shocked to know that the mayor of Nkwen, Bamenda 3, came and sealed shops in the Nkwen market. I was beginning to ask myself questions. This same Nkwen was the same place that started disrespecting Ghost Town. Things were regaining normalcy there gradually on Mondays. It's the same place that the sealing of the shops started. I was tempted to think that maybe there's an agent provocateur somewhere who sees the beginning of light coming, and he looks for every means possible to quench it. If not, how will you explain it? That other parts of Bamenda where they still respect Ghost Town, nothing is done there, they don't see shops there, and you who are beginning to disrespect Ghost Town, you are the same person who sees shops to make the life of the people miserable and bring anger upon the people again, so that they will not become more radicals. I think that this Ghost Town thing, if I should have a say, will disappear without anybody fighting it. It will disappear alone. Because even when it started disappearing alone, in Cameroon, what did they do to make in Cameroon?
I think if not in Do of recent, if not in Do, but the mayor was told to seal shops.
It should be in Do.
Because the mayor was told to seal shop by the divisional officer because these people have been respecting Ghost Town.
And Do, as we speak, they respect Ghost Town.
Yes, the mayor was asked to seal shops. Now, how effective is that measure going to be? The
measure will not work. It won't. Look, I have said it times that number that until a mosquito lands on your testicles, they will understand that it's not all problems that are solved with the use of violence. You must not use force to solve all problems. These problems are very delicate in such a way that if you use force, it may carry your head away. So what if I were a mayor, Mr. Tama? I will ignore and tell the people of my constituency that, look, this ghost town thing is good. Let's maintain it. But on Mondays, which is ghost town, since we are not going out, instead of sitting in the quarters, drinking and discussing what is not useful, let's try to open and develop little roads in our quarters. Community work. Organize it that way, maybe the people will start coming out gradually. If you think that it's by stealing shops, because first of all, experience shows that those whose shops were being sealed and who opened the shops because the government authorities or the local authorities pushed them to open the shops, they were being attacked. Then after, or even had their shops burnt without any authority or any government official coming to their rescue. So you cannot expose these people's business. Do you think that there's any businessman who will let you leave his shop closed? Who wants to maximize profit? Business people are out to maximize profit. They make sure that they use the least opportunity they have to make money. If they can leave their shops closed, it means that there's something that is above them. And secondly, I was in Bamenda and I spoke to some of these business guys. I don't want to be calling names. They told me that instead of them to go and negotiate, because when you go now to open the shop, you are paying the sum of ranging from 10,000 to 50,000 francs. And signing an undertaking that you will start opening your shops from on Mondays. Is that going to be the solution? Some have said that they will not even go there to pay the money, and they will not sign any undertaking. They prefer to leave the shops closed, because some of them said they even had their shops closed for 4 months. Okay. So they are ready to leave it closed because they cannot temper. They cannot temper to go and open their shops against the wishes of the bosses. Because if they do it against the wish of the bosses may come after them, and the girls will not be there to defend them. So what I am saying is that, some told me, Mr. Ta, some told me that they will prefer to discuss with the landlord, go from behind the shops, break the wall, remove their goods, and go and rent another shop elsewhere, than to go and pay money. Where the terms you're using, the voices or the guesses, where is that coming from? It is the terms, the Cameroonian terms that have been invented by an official who displaced one division to another. He went to Kumba and said that Kumba and gave a different name to Kumba, and said that Kumba is the main division. So those are the terms that I'm learning from our authority. He's our leader, and I learned from him. Okay, so thank you. I think you briefly we're looking at the ceiling of shop. Should the common man be penalized? Should the common businessman who is paying his tax to the government be penalized because he is struggling to save his life first? Or how secure is government how secure are they going to be from the officials if they open their shops, because the government is forcing them to do so?
You know, even a class 4 people who does moral and human rights education very well knows that one of the responsibility of the government towards the citizen is to protect the citizen. What our people are dying from or are suffering from is lack of protection. But I want to underline here that we don't fight a ghost. A ghost comes itself and a ghost disappears itself. I buy his point in total. That should these authorities want ghost towns to disappear, let them rather accept ghost town and take this day into human investment. I think that's why you wanted to say.
What is the separatists decide that there should not be any human investment that day? Okay.
We have seen people carry
these same days that these same people don't open shops. Remember, I'm very frequent in Mamenda. These same days that these people don't open shops, not all of them are in their houses. 70% of them are in their farms. 70%, if you share the percent, some of them are still around, loitering, watching, observing things. And you started the second part by mentioning a certain name. We should be resting somewhere now. I don't know whether it is in hell or in heaven, but I say that his soul should be resting. You know, I think that is one of the bad examples he left for his colleagues. Because I could liken him literally to one indomitable Lions captain, Stephen Tato, who was at every ball, at any minute, every throw in, every offside, every kick, direct kick. At the same time, he was against his teammates, against his opponent, hoping to get attention from one god somewhere. These mayors, if truly you people are seated there, voted by us, feel our pain, be at our guard, come closer to us, find out from these people what other way can we do to kill for this ghost to go back. You people, the mayors, do not have the monopoly of ideas. You don't have the monopoly of reason.
Okay.
So this thing of ghost town, I say it categorically no.
Okay.
It can never stop by the city of shock. I remember I've said it here. Anglophone crisis is a war of ideologies, and ideologies are never shot with guns. Ideologies are always subdued by other stronger and better ideologies. So that is what people should be doing now. Not keep drawing the ropes every day.
Okay, I'll begin with you, Quen, or maybe I come to you first. Let me come to you first before coming to Quen. A mother in Bamenda stood up and said that the councillors, the mayors have left their offices and are working somewhere because of insecurity. That is the same people they are running from their offices and working elsewhere. Is the same persons that is responsible for them to close their shops. That they should begin by first of all looking for those people and solving their problems, so that they too will return to their problem. How do you run away from Mr. A and you expect Mr. C to open the shops and stand against Mr. A that you are running from? How possible is that?
The bosses.
I just quoted the woman who said that tell them that what they are afraid of, what is pursuing them out of their offices, is the same thing that we are afraid of. Madness is when you do the same thing over and over and you expect a different result. That is madness, according to Albert Einstein.
Yes, Einstein.
When you put it, you do the same thing over and over, but you want a different result. You will understand something, that if people are afraid of some certain people and they are running away, we have DOs who are working from Yaoundé, we have mayors working from Yaoundé, we have SDOs working from Yaoundé, we have MPs working from Yaoundé, fonds and chiefs who are controlling their constituencies from Yaoundé. And you are asking the question is, why is it that? The reason is very simple. We have people that we have put in power that are using us like shields. They use us like shield to achieve their egoistic tendencies. They use the people like gun proofs to test the waters. They want the people to open their shops to see if the actions that was in the beginning can still occur. Then they measure the degree of change. That is what is happening. That is the system we have in place. That is the people we have, that we have given them a bit of our power, and they are using all their own power to subdue us. Remember, I will always say it, and I say it without mincing word, that our leaders have just received a bit of power from the people. Actually, our leaders are not really to be leaders. It is the people that are the leaders. And those people we have put in offices need to listen to the cry of the people. Jarvis, we say it here repeatedly, and we are saying it again, that the problem we have, what we are dealing with is not the problem. What we are dealing with is the effects of the problem. Simple basic marketing will teach us that in order to solve a problem, you should identify the problem.
But the government has identified that. The government says that they have created the National Bilingualism Commission. They have created a disarmament, the demobilization center. They have allocated 2 billion subvention to lay private teachers. They have redistributed teachers in their respective region. They have formed now a common law at the ENAM. They have organized the Grand Measure National Dialogue. They have created the special status, and they have organized regional councils election. And these are measures the government will tell you that they have implemented. Are you for sure telling us that these measures are inadequate or still much need to be done?
The formula of looking for the area of a triangle is half base times height. When you use length times width,
it gives you the rectangle.
It gives you the formula of a different thing. The government is giving paracetamol to people who are suffering from chronic diseases. And like I will say it clearly, if we don't solve the problem, like the international world, the intellectuals of Cameroon has advised us that we should handle the root causes of this problem, we will keep suffering from the effects, and then we will keep solving the symptoms of the problem. Jarvis, let me land. Don't force me out of.
We are running out of time.
I know we are running. Let me land. This is the first time I'm talking a little longer. We will keep solving, attacking the symptoms, and the problem will keep eating deeper. Jarvis, let me be very clear with us. If the Anglophone problem is not handled, and a round table discussion of gentlemen without any higher or lower authority to sit down on a table and discuss the way forward of this country, we will realize that we will go round circles. Because if you are married to a woman, love making is automatic. The day you force your woman to bed to make love is called rape, not love making. Cameroonians are raping the other parties.
Good afternoon, Mr. Jarvis and everyone in the studio. The mayors in the northwest and southwest region are not serious. They want to sacrifice the lives of their people in the name of struggling to stop Post Town. Child Clinton Ekoyan Berry from Douala. This one reads, it says, my name is Tambis. Greetings to you all panelists on board Mamita Prime. Those business premises were sealed by the divisional officer of Bamenda 3 and not the mayor. The mayor never took part in such. Thank you very much. This one reads, it says, greetings to the team. It is laughable how our government will be using her citizens to fight separatists. It is simply show how irresponsible the government is. They simply don't care about the common man. It is normal. Is it normal for the duo in the BLM to work from Chang, but a shop in Lu is closed from not opening on ghost town days? They are just interested in saving their face internationally. Zege Ondin from Douala. This one reads, it says, happy Sunday. It is Tagen Donatien from Bamenda. We need a new government, simple as ABC. I cannot comment without appreciating your maturity in handling the program, bro. Sir Jarvis, I have similar different worry which sounds more rhetoric. How would people rather seal shops when everyone, Tom, Dick and Harry wants to pretend to leave footprint? Do you know what I follow? A certain minister called him Atanganji is like, if you like, telling one chief that everything he says about the government is evil simply because the said chief was being honest. Lord forgive them. This one is a good day, Mr. Jarvis. I love the program. It is the same thing late. A Kmer Patrick started forcing people to open their shops in Boya, but now Boya booms on Monday. Why should we keep supporting people who don't care about the common man? When these shops are closed on Monday, who gains? Let the separatist leaders also. Europe says that they should not go to work also on Monday, that they are in solidarity with our people in northwest and southwest region. If they will not sack them, let us be realistic. Thank you very much. I come to you. briefly, I want to understand the context of sealing shops. How is this going to help kill ghost town when we have the same administrative authorities in some regions are operating in satellite offices because of the same crisis that we face? From your party perspective, how should this ghost town be killed?
Mr. Jarvis, I will start by answering you that, there is a problem with the government and its newly elected officials. They always want to showcase their talent. They are just overzealous. That's the problem. They are just overzealous, and it's this zeal that brought us to the Anglophone crisis. They are just overzealous.
How do you call somebody's effort in struggling to build the nation that talent?
They are trying to show their talents, Mr. Jarvis, because it is not normal that they understand the insecurity in these zones. They understand what the populations are going through, but you still compel them on opening their shops on their own risk. It is means that's what their predecessor, our late Kmer Patrick, did in Boya. They are trying to showcase their talent, and I tell you, especially the unmerited government officials like Atanganji. He went to the Northwest and he started saying that the government is winning fatly. Winning what?
But how do you call the government minister appointed a high-profile government authorities who have first been Minister of Special Duties at the Presidency of the Republic, Cameroon chief spy, and now Minister of Territorial Administration, and you call him?
He is not. He's an unmerited. He's on an unmerited.
Is there
let me tell you,
Mr. The right to become minister?
There is not an exam, but when you see someone like like the Prime Minister, he's someone who is calm. He's very intelligent.
So what are the criteria for someone to merit a ministerial position? What's your checklist? Because when you say a minister is unmerited, I think to me it's not.
Mr. Jarvis, when I talk of unmerited, it means all the acts he carries out are not glorifiable. They are not glorifying. They are not educational. Because when he comes out and says that in the Northwest and Southwest the government is winning fatly, what do you mean? Winning what? We need solutions and not provocative words.
Minister Paul Atanganji, maybe from his own perspective, he's seeing that from his perspective, because we must understand, we must respect the opinion of people and see that they have a right to the opinion. Looking at what Mr. Paul Atanganji is saying, within the North and Southwest region, you will not refuse that there have not been calmness in some areas.
There is no calm, Mr. Jarvis. You are trying to support. You are trying to.
I just want to lay the balance.
There is nothing is stable. Just yesterday, how many children were being killed? 4. It means that the number of these children being killed are not valuable or they are insignificant. There is nothing that Atanganji says that is glorifiable or that makes him that gives him the criteria of the position he holds. He doesn't bring out any glorifiable act. All what he does is he's just trying to showcase his talent, trying to being too zealous and trying to maybe please his master.
I want you to explain this. I want you to explain this.
Okay.
The same minister who had credible information that some people have hijacked the crisis, when he said that people were saying that no, and we have seen that people have hijacked the crisis. The same minister who have been struggling to ensure that calmness return in Northern and Southwest by instituting the colours ban. The same minister who have been struggling to ensure that Cameroonians in all the walks of life, in all the fair, respect the head of state and his firm authorities.
Mr. Jarvis, let me tell you, Mr. Jarvis, there is a saying that says that the goat always eats where it's been tied. All what Mr. Atanganji is doing is to his own benefit. He's trying to create a name for himself. He's trying to protect whatever or the ideology from which he came from. There is nothing glorifiable from what he's doing. He's not working to the benefits of the population. He does not have the population at heart. You will agree with me that Atanganji was the cause of this Anglophone, the explosion of this Anglophone crisis, because he stood out and said that there is no problem in the Anglophone zones, but today he's still fighting for that problem. It means it's an irony. He's fighting against the
problem. The minister has been doing humanitarian work.
He has been doing this humanitarian work.
Mattresses has been distributing.
Mr. Jarvis, when you talk of him doing humanitarian works or humanitarian
he's not a
workaholic. He's just trying. He's the telecommand of the regime. He simply does what the regime asks him to do. And the money he uses, what they say that they are doing humanitarian work. Whose money is that? Our money.
A while ago you said that Atanganji is working on himself. Now you're saying that he's working under the government.
No, you are the one that said that. You are the one that said that Atanganji is doing humanitarian works. For me, it is not humanitarian works because it is our money they use. And let me tell you, Mr. Jarvis, the truth is the money they allocate to them, like recently he was allocated 600 million. Do you think that the money he used or whatever, the little mattress and the things he bought were how can I say, were what the things he bought? Okay, he's working for himself. He embezzled the money. And don't tell me that, no, Mr. Jarvis, we should speak the truth to ourselves. Because when we refuse to accept the truth, it means we do not want change. Mr. Atanganji and the government does nothing for the population. They do not have the population at heart. And whatever he's saying that we should take responsibility for that. I take responsibility for that. And let me go on your question. I haven't answered your question. Briefly, yes. When the mayor goes out and says you should open your shop, and if you do not open, I seal, and you are going to come and pay fine. It is another means for the government to steal money from our population who do not have. Those fines go where? Personal pockets. And secondly, which roads? We do not have roads, please. I beg your pardon, we do not have roads. And secondly, you know that these citizens, their lives are not in security. They are not secured, but yet you compel them on opening their shops. Will you be with them when they come and when they will be attacked? You will not be with them because when they go there, they go on well secured with military people. At the end of the day, we love our life because we want to please the government.
I think time is not on our side. Maybe let's do our viewers favor to read some of their few messages. Then we'll end the program. Good afternoon, all the panelists. My question is Boya Council limited to seal stores from Boya Town to Moliko and the rest of Moya, My 16, My 15 not controlled by the council because they seal part of Boya and leave out others? Should the council not John? This one read, good afternoon to everyone from the panel. I wish to know when the reply is due. When replay is due, replay will be due today at 10:30 in the evening. Good afternoon, Jarvis. I just want to be clear. The government is not to dialogue with voiceless. Stephen Gael from Yaoundé. Good afternoon, Jarvis. Please, the mayor open the council first before the mayor should open the council first before coming to open the market. I like your program. It's coming from Chair Bafut. Good afternoon. Selling our shops in Du have failed. They simply added more power to the ghost ruling the town. Thank you very much. Because of time constraint, we will have to technically calling a wrap here. I want to thank you, Jones, for coming. It's a privilege to have you.
Thank you so much. We're not living from a commercial avenue to the University Babili. There are 8 police checkpoints, and these 8 police checkpoints, they have to settle the drivers. Transporters have to settle control on these 8 police checkpoints. It means that if a driver is living from a commercial avenue to Bambili, you have to pay 1,000 francs per police checkpoint. That's 8,000 francs for a go. That makes life very difficult for the population. So thank you very much. It's a privilege.
Of course, thank you for coming, Song Derek.
Thank you very much, Jarvis, for having confidence on me. Thanks to all the televiewers who take their time always to sit on their TV. I want to end by saying that it is far more honorable when you lose power protecting life than when you gain power losing life.
Thank you. Of course, thank you very much for coming, Dimum Emmanuel.
Yes, I just want to end with these words to our leaders who are watching us, that they should know that we shall someday die. Whether we die celebrated or shamefully, whether we die heroically or as celebrity, whether we die villain or as incognito, posterity shall judge us.
Thank you very much for coming. Of course, here in the studio, we want to say thank you for coming, Ba Akwen.
Thank you, Mr. Jarvis. I'll end by saying that I want to call on the Minister of National Security to give me my ID card, because it's an abomination for Cameroonians, which are glorifiable citizens, not having their ID cards. Having ID card in Cameroon has become like a pass to heaven. We need our ID card. The CPNR political party has launched, I want my ID card. Give us our ID card. It is our civic right to have ID cards. We are not asking you, it is your duty. Give us our ID cards and our passports. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All those of you who took our time to text us on the program. The Minister of National Security have launched a website that you should go there on the website. In the next edition, I'll give you the website. You go there if you have a problem. As far as the ID card or your passport is concerned, you go to the tab menu, you take our services. When you go to our services, you will input your ID card details in it, and they will tell you where your ID card is or when you will have your ID card. I think that's the new latest development as far as that is concerned. Let's be honest. Of course, this program comes to you every Sunday at exactly 12, runs from 12 to 1:30 p.m. every Sunday, and rebroadcasts every Sunday at exactly 10:30 p.m. And why not on Monday we'll have a rebroadcast of this program. As often the case, you can visit our YouTube channel, which all of our programs are on our YouTube channel, which is BT Media Group. YouTube channel is BT Media Group. You subscribe to the YouTube channel and you get all the programs, or you go to www.btmediagroup.net on our website, where you can get more information as to breaking news, and on our Facebook page, My Media Prime, you get our Facebook page, My Media Prime, and subsequent edition, which I bring to you our Instagram page and Twitter handle, where you can follow us and other programs on My Media Prime. I leave you with this: no matter the matter, what matter is your matter. No matter the matter, what matter is your matter. And what should matter for you this day is that you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. The truth is God. You can only kill the teller and not the truth. When you kill the teller, the truth is like a ghost. It remains to haunt you. My name is Tamai Jarvis. Until we meet again, stay blessed and bye-bye from Cameroon's economic capital, Douala.
Du respect, on a vécu ensemble, dis-moi, tout était bien, dis-moi, le temps a passé, dis-moi, beaucoup de choses ont changé, dis-moi, et maintenant tu trouves, dis-moi, que j'ai trop grossi, dis-moi, que je ronfle la nuit, dis-moi, que je gaze aussi, dis-moi, tout ça pour t'éloigner de moi et Anita, tout ça pour susciter mon désespoir, dis donc, lolo, 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 ah 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 ah, je croyais qu'on était ensemble. 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 Chan chan, tu déconnes déjà. Est-ce que tu crois? Si tu as vieilli. Samaha. Sa Majesté Kamga, Unkam à Oran. Le patriarche Franck Xavier Elon. Regarde-moi bien, c'est pas pareil. Regarde-moi bien, c'est pas pareil. Je m'efforce encore d'être jolie. Puis mets-toi alors, tu te négliges. Regarde-moi bien, j'ai pas changé. Regarde-moi bien, j'ai pas changé. Mettons nos égos bien à côté. Asseyons-nous ensemble et discutons. Regarde-moi très bien, regarde-moi très bien. Regarde-moi bien, j'ai pas changé. L'arrangeur international Dani Mwanga. José Atangana, le meilleur de sa génération.